Tens of thousands of Palestinians streamed into the most heavily destroyed part of the Gaza Strip on Monday as Israel lifted its closure of the north for the first time since the early weeks of the 15-month war with Hamas, in accordance with a fragile ceasefire. Under the ceasefire agreement, they were allowed to enter via two north-south highways crossing the Netzarim corridor, an Israeli military zone. The opening was delayed for 2 days over a dispute between Hamas and Israel, which said the militant group had changed the order of the hostages it released in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. I'm joined by Melissa Weiss, executive editor at Jewish Insider, for more on the story. Melissa, this is a pretty significant moment for the Palestinians to cross over through the northern border. A part, it seems, have been heavily destroyed, isn't it?
Yeah, which is, essentially what happens when a group such as Hamas has been given 15 years to build a really developed infrastructure in which homes and hospitals and schools and UN facilities have all been turned into to military installations. And so the people of North Gaza are returning to an area that will have to be rebuilt, likely with the support from a number of Arab countries that are likely to pledge support for the rebuilding of Gaza in an eventual day after scenario.
Melissa, we are playing out those pictures of migration right now. Seems thousands and thousands of people are crossing over. Where are they going? Where are they going to stay?
It's a very good question, and it is something for the all of the different countries that are going to be playing a role in the day after to figure out. It is likely that they will not be staying in the long term in this area until there is housing, until there are structures that are being built. Some are returning to their homes to retrieve their belongings. Others will go and set up temporary shelters. So the rebuilding will take quite a long time. And remember, the war is not over. This is a temporary ceasefire in the hope that we are eventually getting to the end of this war, but the war is not over.
And what does it really mean that the Israeli forces are still in that territory that we are seeing right now, hundreds and thousands of Palestinians returning home?
It means that we are in phase one of a three-phase deal. As a part of phase one, the Israeli military is not fully withdrawing from Gaza. Remember, this takes goodwill on both sides, and what we've seen repeatedly over the last week and a half is that Hamas has violated the terms of the agreement. First, in not providing the hostages who were supposed to be released per the terms of the deal, and now in not providing a list of who is alive and who is dead to the Israeli authorities. The ball is really in Hamas's court. If they want this war to end, like the Palestinians do, like many Israelis do, they can abide by the terms of the agreement.
Mm-hmm. Melissa, it's an interesting phase in the history of the world and the history of the region, because often we talk about migration. This, what we are seeing, is reverse migration, but they are going back to an area they are not sure of making a future in.
Listen, I think Israelis and Palestinians alike would love nothing more than to see Gaza be as booming economically and socially as we are here, just miles away. There's no reason that the shores of the Gaza Strip cannot look like the shores of Israel, cannot look like Tel Aviv, cannot look like Herzliya, cannot look like major Israeli cities. There's enormous opportunity for this enclave that is on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. There is so much opportunity here. The question really comes down to, what future do the Palestinians want for themselves? And when you think about it that way, Hamas, which is still the government in Gaza, continues to pledge to wage war against Israel. And I think that as long as you have a government that is committed to waging war against a neighbor, then Palestinians aren't going to be able to reap the benefits of this beautiful land and to build on it and to be prosperous. And so it's really a question of what the Palestinians want for their future. And if they want a future that is economically booming, if they want a beautiful coastline, if they want tourism, if they want their children to thrive, there's a really easy way of going about that, and that is moving beyond a government that is controlled by a group that does not want those things.